Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior YouTube. We're now on YouTube on Tuesdays, going live on YouTube. So my intention is to build this channel. So if you are here and you have been following me on Facebook, please like and subscribe to this channel because it will mean the world to me as we're looking to build it and bring the message to more and more people about stepping fully into your power. And this is the time of the spiritual warrior. So I'm going to get into that more as we go. I hope that you all can hear me. Good morning. And because people are starting to hop off, so it's making me wonder if maybe this isn't working. I'm still really getting used to YouTube at this point. Energetically, it's an entirely different thing. Okay, I'm going to text my husband. So today, I just want to make sure this is working. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the number one enemy of the empath. So let's talk about what an empath is. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure this is working because he comes on and he supports me. Okay. Let's talk about what an empath is. Now, if you identify as an empath, go ahead and put that in the chat. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Okay, great. So if you identify as an empath, please put it in the chat. So an empath is someone who, I'm an empath. Most people who follow me, Amanda, you do. Most people who are I work with are empathic. Now, an empath, sorry, it's very dark in here. An empath is someone who can feel things very, very deeply. I'm going to open up this window because it is really dark in here. We are still in a process of trying to get this new studio in my new office. That made it worse. Working. Okay, I'm going to work through it. So the empath is someone who feels things very deeply. They're often very, very psychic. When you walk out into the world, you feel everything. You feel everything. And this is we're talking about the unmanaged, unorganized empath. Gosh, that's driving me crazy. I'm sorry. We are still trying to work out this whole situation. And I'm having a really hard time with the lighting in here and going on YouTube. I'm like being a victim to YouTube and the lighting and move. It's just this whole thing. So anyway, so an empath feels everything. Now, there are people that are in their victimhood around being an empath, and I am the same. I used to be like that, like, oh my gosh, the world's too much. I'm too sensitive. I feel too much. And all of those things were true. I did feel too much. I was really sensitive, but I would collapse around being empathic instead of standing in my power around it, because empaths are incredibly psychic, incredibly aligned with the angelic realms, incredibly aligned with God. But when we get off and when we find ourselves being disempowered and disconnected is when we land in being a victim. Now, we could do a whole series on how to become an empowered empath, because when you're an empowered empath, you're in your superpower. You are absolutely 100% in your superpower. And that is the goal, to get you out of this, I'm too sensitive, I can't handle the world situation, because this is what leads you to what I'm going to be talking about, the number one enemy of the empath. And the number one enemy of the empath, and this is on the rise right now, it is absolutely on the rise, is the narcissistic personality disorder. Someone who holds the energy of a narcissist, or they actually are a narcissist. And here's why. Here, I'm going to back up really quickly. Narcissism is on the rise. And I have some theories around that. I don't know if narcissistic people are getting more bold. I'm not sure if they're getting more narcissistic people are being afflicted by energetic interference, or people that are good candidates to be narcissists and they're growing into that, or if it's been laying dormant. But here's what my theory is around why narcissism is on the rise and why we're seeing more and more narcissists come out of the woodwork, is that right now the narcissist is one of the most dangerous personality disorders that we have on the planet. They are super dangerous. And I'm not talking about dangerous physically. They can be very abusive and they can be dangerous in that way. I'm talking about they are dangerous to your psyche. They are dangerous to your well-being. They are dangerous to your energy, to your emotion. They are very, very dangerous. And we are in a fight right now between the darker forces and the lighter forces in a way I don't know if humanity has ever seen it in this way, because we're at a whole other different level of technology and covert energy and things like that. We're not back in like the war days, right? Where, I mean, yes, there are countries that go to war and things like that, but we're in a whole other kind of war. And I truly believe and sense and feel that the dark forces, the enemy, the satanic energies, all of the darker energy forces on the planet are on their way out. Like the vibrations that we're creating on the planet right now and that are being created, they cannot sustain here. And this is why this time in history is incredibly important for us to stand in our power and stand on the front lines as spiritual warriors, because this is actually happening. Eventually they will leave, but they're going to be fighting. This is why you are seeing so much breakdown in the collective. One, they're fighting, and two, these things do need to collapse. So the narcissist is one of the ways that the dark, I'm just going to call it the evil, the dark, some people say it's the devil, energetic interference, demons, whatever it is. This is one way they can get to us, is through someone who allows them to work through them as a narcissist. And the thing is with narcissism, it is textbook. If you meet a narcissist, they all do the same exact thing. It's literally like they have all taken the same class, all taken the same training. But it is one way for the dark to come through. And the thing is with empaths, and why narcissists love empaths so much, is one, we are of the light. Most of us are of the light. We feel and see deeply. We want to be seen because we see things so deeply and we feel so deeply. When someone like tunes into us and lights us up and shines all of that attention on us, it feels really, really good. It's what we've been craving because we are out there soaking everything up all of the time. That when someone focuses on us, and narcissists are really good at that in the beginning of a relationship, they focus right in, and you feel, I've attracted many narcissists, so I know this very, very well. You feel high, like you feel seen, and it feels awesome. Like it feels awesome. So you get hooked, like super hooked. And then once you're hooked and the narcissist knows you're hooked, they're like, I got her. I got him. And that's when the abuse cycle begins. And it's very toxic. It's very brutal, and it's very, very damaging. And this is one way, a sneaky way, that the dark forces can slowly kill the light of people. Because imagine if empaths were being knocked out one by one by one by one, and I have seen people actually die, getting very, very sick from years and years and years of narcissistic abuse from their spouse or their partner or their parent. They've gotten cancer, they've gotten some sort of autoimmune disease, and this is after years, and it's real. So imagine, or you just people get very depressed and then they're out and they're not doing their amazing magical work in the world. And this is on the rise right now because an empowered empath is someone who can change the planet. An empowered empath is someone who can make a difference. An empowered empath raises the vibration of the planet and of the collective. So I'm going to read this to you. This really, really landed. This really landed with me. This was written by someone named Bernard Gunther. He talks a lot about the occult forces and the darker forces, and his mission is to wake people up. He's very like, let's all take the red pill from the matrix and deprogram ourselves. But he wrote this maybe a month ago, and it really, really landed on me. And he's talking about where us as spiritual leaders and empaths really need to be awake right now because of everything that I just talked about. So these are the things that you got to look out for as an empath, as a spiritual person, as someone who has an open, loving heart. I'm going to read them. Superficial charm, right? The fake charm. There's that quote, I'm going to butcher it, but that the devil is the most handsome person in the room, the most charming person in the room. And it's not about being paranoid. It's not about that. It's about being aware in your power. Superficial charm via pretending to care about marginalized groups. So he specifically in this one, he's talking about a lot of the woke movement, right? Like there's so many, he's talking about like a lot of people, narcissists, this is a whole other topic, are infiltrating these like woke groups so they can bring in this sort of like fake vigilante, I get to make you wrong because we think different ways kind of thing. Desire to manipulate and hurt others, a lack of empathy, that's number one. Now in the beginning, a narcissist can fake empathy and it feels really good. They fake like, oh my God, I'm so into you. I see you and we are meant to be together like nobody else. Like you are amazing. Lack of empathy, inability to distinguish between right and wrong. Once the mask comes off, that definitely comes forward. Very aggressive and arrogant. Again, once the love bombing stage, that's the beginning stage, is gone. They're very aggressive and very arrogant. And underneath the arrogance is hollowness. Underneath the ego is complete hollowness. Shows no remorse. Rationalizes wrongdoings, says people deserve it, right? And one thing is like a narcissist will say, like if they punch you in the nose or punch you in the face, and you're like, what did you do that for? And this would be classic narcissistic response. Well, you got in my way. Or I've told you over and over again, I don't like your nose, so I decided to punch it. It's your fault. Right? Like a lot of gaslighting in that way. Accepts no responsibility for actions. Huge. When someone does not accept any responsibility or take any part, like what's their part in an interaction, there's nowhere to go with them. And they're very hard to go into therapy or any kind of like transformation because they don't take responsibility. They won't see their part. That is incredibly dangerous. Thinks they are never wrong, habitual liar, manipulative, and often they're very, very intelligent, but there's no conscience. They're very intelligent, but no conscience, and exploits the goodwill of others. So and then he says, do you see why this is one of the most dangerous evils we are dealing with in the world yet? And that really landed with me because while they're not out like murdering people, maybe they are, but most not, or overtly abusing people, these are the people that are running the world. Usually they're CEOs. These are the people that are in high positions often. And as you see, as I read that list, they're not like I said, they're not murdering or kidnapping people, but they're highly dangerous. And they're very, very good at roping you in. So as an empath, We feel everything. We want to be nice to everyone. We want to see the world kind and high. And if we're not careful, we can be highly manipulated. We can allow others to highly manipulate us. Over trusting, over caring, over giving. And we desperately sometimes want to be seen. Because we're seeing everybody else in the world, but we feel sometimes we're lacking that. Like, I just want someone to see me. I just want someone to take care of me. And they're very good at that in the beginning. They're very, very good at doing that. So what do we want to do about it? The number one enemy of the empath is the narcissistic personality disorder. Everything that I read from there. Now, the empowered empath, which that's where you get to go. That's where you get to be. That's where I get to be. It's not about being paranoid, but we get to be more on high alert. We get to look out for the red flags. We get to be like, something isn't right about this. And we know it. We feel it. There's always cognitive dissonance at the beginning. But as empaths, we want to like give them the benefit of the doubt. And it is the way, and this again, I'm going to say it again, it's not about being paranoid, but it is a way right now for the dark side, the evil, demonic forces to knock down the light workers. I have seen in my practice, I've seen it with myself, I've seen it with friends, people who get roped in, allowed themselves to get charmed by a narcissist, and then they're out. They're out of their work, they're out of showing up fully. And then eventually they get, many of them do get out of it. Some don't. And I've had friends who have actually died from narcissistic abuse by getting cancer or some autoimmune disease. And this is years and years and years and years, and they can't get out, or they think they can't get out. But I've also seen friends that have been in a relationship with a narcissist for 3 months, 2 months, 4 months. And the cleanup, the energetic cleanup is hard. It's deep. It can be soul crushing. So if that happens, your empathic, beautiful light is busy dealing with getting all the cords off of you, busy dealing with the cleanup, busy dealing with coming back into your power. So if you're an empath and you're in a conversation that the world is too much for you, or you're in a conversation in your head that you're too sensitive, or you're in a conversation that you feel too much, that's a disempowered state. Flip it. Because when we're disempowered, that's when we're open to things like this that we're talking about. This is when we're open. This is when we're open and we're like, we get involved and we're not as sharp and aware. But the empowered empath that knows you feel deeply, but then learns how to navigate the different energetic realms out there, learns to navigate your own emotional system, learns how to stand in your power, in your genius. You are the one to raise the vibration of the planet. You are the one that's going to shift things. You are the one that's here to this is how we beat the evil and the dark, is to release the programming that the empath is too this, too much, too that. If you have that programming, I want you to really pause on it. Maybe you had a parent that was like, oh my God, you're so sensitive. You take everything so personally. Oh my God, that kind of thing. That's a lie. And it is not their fault. It's their programming to tell you that from your parents. They have responsibility. Yes. But they also have their own set of programming that was telling you, you're to this, you're to that, you're to this, you're to that. No, that is the lie. That is the lie. If you think about the archetype of an angel, and this is the last thing I'll say. Let's take Archangel Michael, right? Archangel Michael is the warrior angel, but he's also the angel that people call on to clear cords, to cut energy, to clear energy, to cut energy cords, for protection. But Archangel Michael, he has to be on high alert on what you feel, what I feel, what the entire world is feeling, because he is being called on by millions of people every single day. So he has to take his angelic feelers out and be like, ooh, Beth's over there. I get to, oh, she's feeling down and depressed. Ooh, she's got a narcissistic cord into her from someone else. Oh, right? So he has to feel that all to be able to help, but he doesn't ever lose his power. Yes, he's an angel, but he's trained to be an angel. Angels don't just become angels. They have to train to become angels. So if something like Archangel Michael or even someone in a human body that supports millions and thousands of people and can feel deeply, but if they give up their power for that and they buy into the old programming that they're too sensitive or too much, then they're knocked out of the game. So shift it, because it's really important. Because I've also seen a lot of empaths, not even that are dealing with a narcissist, but have been in the conversation that they're too sensitive and they eventually get sick because you're not clearing. Stand powerfully. It is your superpower. And be aware of the wolf in sheep's clothing, the narcissist. They are on the rise, and it's all part of the plan to keep this planet at a lower vibration, but we're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. We're going to create an army of empowered spiritual warrior empaths. All right. And if they don't have anywhere to go or feed, then they just go away, right? The only way they're staying alive is because they can hook into you and feed. And that is the biggest thing of an art. They feed and feed and take and take and take because they're hollow. And an empath, we have so much light. They're like, I'm plugging into that so I can just take your light. But nope, not doing it. All right. Thank you if you were here the whole time, thank you for supporting me as I go through the drama of getting on YouTube. It's very dark in here. We are really trying to work through all of the lighting and all the things. And we are moving from Facebook to YouTube every Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Please, please, please like and subscribe this video because it helps us spread the message. It helps me get more of a presence on here. And I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if any of this resonated with you, if you've had any experience with a narcissist in the past or you currently are, put it in the chat. All right. Have an amazing day. My name is Beth Osmer, and I will see you on the next video.